It tastes like a Cata launch. Let me get 400,000 gold and a couple bots working on it real fast. Settle down, lock it in. You're all pissing me off. You already know we back to the hydration nation. We need a little chaser. We have a clog in aisle 7 somewhere down the throat piece, somewhere down the esophagus lane. Oh yes, indeed. Much cleansed by the waters of the Paladin nation. Much appreciated to ya. However, in today's video, we're going to be talking about Paladins. This is a Paladin video. It's been a minute since I did a mainly Paladin VOD, and I'm really excited to get back into this again. So, settle down, relax, put on a seatbelt, and let's get it going. However, before we continue, much thanks to the, the Rested XP sponsor. I appreciate you guys. If you want to check out Rested XP, and it supports the channel and supports your boy, I obviously make this content for free for your enjoyment. A little support down there, why don't you? Otherwise, you will get shot. So lock it in. But much love to you, and thank you, Rested XP, for the link. However, in continuing today's video, let's zoom out real quick. Editor, I like that little macro transition. Keep it in for the rest of the phase, because it's going to be a long doozy to phase 4. However, I know right now, guys, that, we are on a long sleeping pattern until phase 4. And yes, same shirt. However, the laundry was did, alright? I just did the laundry. I just decided to wear the shirt again, so don't shoot me. You will get shot in Minecraft. But, besides that, yes, we have a long doozy to phase 4. And we have a lot of things to discuss. What are we doing? Are we going to be playing Cata? I already told you guys that I probably won't be playing Cata. Maybe not off the rip. But we'll see how things go, if Cata is worth it or not. Maybe I just get the boost and then just play, and get involved. I don't know. We'll see. I'll give it some thought, but we'll go from there. And then besides that, we obviously have, waiting for phase 4. Currently we're playing a lot of things too. The reason why I'm not playing Cata is because, we're playing D4 and playing Mop Remix. I'm still playing SOD and trying to do stuff with my guild in general. It's a lot, it's a lot for your boy, a lot of games to handle. But overall, I appreciate the, the love and support and people wanting to see, your boy get on the Cata wave. We'll think about it, all right? So settle down. Don't piss me off. But besides that, we're going to be talking about today of things that I would love to see from the Paladin's perspective. Now, not all Paladins will agree. Maybe there might be some turmoil, civil war in the Paladin court. It's Hodge on Hodge action. It's repent via repent. Back up. You will get bubbled and booted from the cathedral. However, let's talk about a couple things, and mainly, if I don't see Paladins talking, I don't want to hear anybody else's opinions. I'm just playing. Much love to you. And also, before I even continue, I want to say this. I want to see a lot of cool things for a lot of classes, and runes, and baseline abilities, and passes in general. We're mainly focusing on Paladins. I'm about to say Paladins. Editor, I'll shoot you. However, I do appreciate, talking about my class, and I hope people appreciate hearing my perspective from, the class that they like to play, the Paladin, the man of the light. I'm getting sidetracked, don't piss me off. Improved Sanctuary, okay? I really think that Improved Sanctuary is something that we need to discuss. It's not that great. Let's be honest here. Paladins never really had a place back in the day in the OG Classic of Vanilla, besides Dungeon, right? Raiding, you really wouldn't have a Paladin. You mainly have a Warrior, maybe a Druid for some trash clearing. But in general, Warrior tanks were just BIS, alright? And even nowadays, right now, I mean, Paladin's tanks are still really good, but going deep prot is really not the answer, in my opinion. I would really like to see Improved Sanctuary, and especially a lot of these abilities that have the word improved on it, almost be a passive book. If you guys remember, in SM Graveyard, when we would get the passive books and stuff like that, and I think Warlocks would get it, I think Mages, Druids, Paladins, I think, got some stuff too in SM in general with the passive books, if I remember correctly, or if maybe I forgot. I know, did we get the improved Blessing of Might and Wisdom from there? However, in general, you get what I'm saying. I really would like to see a lot of these improved things just be baseline to the passive book side. I don't think this should be something that's, needed to be in a rune slot when there's other runes in that slot that are just much better. You wouldn't want to go with, only Improved Sanctuary. You would be sacrificing a damage loss, So, yes, you're going for a safety net here, but in terms of, having the raid being killed faster or being killed more efficiently, I don't know if Improved Sanctuary is really the answer. And I have a lot of other paladins that really don't use this, and they'd be tanking as well. So, just not a fan of it. I think it would be cool and dope as a passive book, and now you could use maybe another rune that Blizzard would come up with for the prop paladin support to see some prop paladin shine. And I really would like to see that. I think there should be some love for the deep prot, beefy tanky boys. Much love to them. However, for the next one, and we're going to get controversial right off the rip. Divine Storm. Sag. Make Divine Storm great again. It's the truth. I say this in the Paladin Discord all the time. I really miss Divine Storm, man. Phase 1, Deadly Strike of the Hydra, DS, level 25, PvP, World PvP. Fucking those were the days, man. Those were great times of Sod. Even getting this rune, from the questline itself, was amazing. In general, I want Divine Storm to be hitting again. Currently, right now, guys, just the truth. I still feel like it's a wet noodle in comparison to recently I've been coming from Mop Remix and seeing Divine Storm over there. The power scaling much different, right? But still, seeing Divine Storm hit over there and then coming back to Sod and then feeling like it hits like a wet cloth. It's not good. This thing used to slap. You would feel the Divine Storm, hence the name Divine fucking Storm. Don't get me worked up. I felt it. Type 2 getting crazy right there. However, blood sugar spiked. But the 110% weapon damage, I think, needs to be bumped a little bit. I also think the healing back to the party needs to be increased a little bit. And maybe consider, Blizzard, hear me out, consider this being a baseline ability. Considering it. Because the problem right now with Paladins is that they have to choose between two things. Seal of Martyrdom, Divine Storm. They will never get to use either of those together. And having Divine Storm as a baseline is a possible future for a Paladin, maybe in this PTR. We don't know. We're theory crafting. We're just talking here. I'm not saying lock these in. They're going to listen to me. I don't know if they're listening to me, but if they watch my videos, much love to you, to the whole SOD team. I appreciate it. But give me the phase early. Your boy needs to crank out some gold. That's a side note. My bad. I had a temper tantrum. Forgive me, Blizzard. Actually, don't forgive me. You're on high alert, too. However, Divine Storm. Yeah, we should make this ability great again. That's all I'm getting at. I really want to see the days of it coming back. A big problem right now why people don't use Divine Storm is because Martyrdom is too good. And you rather have Martyrdom in a raid because you are now the mana battery. You are basically the Shamanistic Rage. You are the Shaman version of mana regeneration as a Paladin in raid. So, it is what it is, but we need to see Divine Storm in action again. It's a great ability, great for trash clearing in general. I just want to see it. I want to see it. I want to have it feel good in PvP as well. But besides that, it is what it is. Let's move on. This son of a bitch. The Horn. Oh, I'm going to throw up when I see this thing. The Horn, let me say it correctly, because I know people get pissed. The Horn of Lordaeron. The Horn of Lordaeron. The Horn of Lord Regina. I don't even know if that's a woman. However, settle down. Lock it in. But regardless of that, yeah, this horn is not good, guys. I'm sorry. I know some Shockanins, use this horn. And there is some data behind it with some values on how it could be beneficial. But I think overall, this horn needs to be baselined. It doesn't need to be a rune. And I also think what it should do is that if you have Blessing of Might or Blessing of Wisdom on, it increases those effects by a certain threshold even higher. Or buffs all types of Blessing of Wisdom, Blessing of Might, etc. effects. And that's how you play off this ability. I think there needs to be a heavy rework on this. Blizzard needs to take a look at this because I guarantee you, if we were to get up an Excel chart right now with some charts and graphs, the line on this ability is at a low. I guarantee you it's at a low in comparison to a lot of other abilities that Paladins use. I think it's a cool ability, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, if I'm a Paladin in a raid, I mainly am just going for a Blessing of Might or a Blessing of Wisdom. I'm not using this thing, and I don't think a lot of Paladins, even people who are, and not to bring up logging, but it is the truth, people who are logging are using this thing whatsoever. I just don't think you're wasting your time is what I'm saying. You're wasting your time if you're using this in a raid. Unless you're a holy paladin, then I could see it. But besides that, I don't know. It's whatever to me personally. Improved Hammer of Wrath. The same thing I felt about Improved Sanctuary, right? These things that say improved on it, I don't think need to be a rune. I think they need to be just a passive book, something that is baseline. I don't like the fact that they, you choose between Hammer of Righteousness or Improved Hammer of Wrath. And even if you picked Improved Hammer of Wrath, it's a lot of mana. It's intensive, that mana, to use Improved Hammer of Wrath, especially during its execution phase of a boss. Now, it's really nice in PvP, really love it there, but still mana intensive. And I just think genuinely they need to fix the mana rates on this ability as a whole, and they also need to make this a passive book, just my opinion. But these are the things I would like to test out during the PTR. And if it's not good, if anything I'm about to say for the rest of the video, if it's not good, then reverse them and do something else. Take a different approach. I would like to see other ideas people have. Because at the end of the day, I'm not perfect. I'm not going to admit that all my decisions here are great. I'm just saying it's something to test out. We don't like it. It's a failure. That's fine. But how can we prove upon it? That's where I'm at right now. That's what I'm thinking. That's where my head's at, all right? Nothing is finalized. But that's all I want to say about Improved Hammer of Wrath. Enlightened Judgements. Something that I thought was going to be really cool on paper and I was going to be really excited about. And then for me, it wound up being a big letdown. You increase the range of your judgment by 30 and your spell hit with all spells by 17%. Now, there is a world, like in PvP, if somebody is running away, you catch them with that judgment. It's just enough. You have enough mana left, and you catch them with one final Kai Blast, That's kind of nice. But overall, though, it's not as good. It's not as good as you think, and you want to use it over its other counterparts in those rune slots that there's other abilities that are better than this. So I think Enlightened Judgments should just be a natural passive to a Paladin, where you just have increased range on your judgment. And if you want to max the spell hit on all spells, that's fine, but just increase your range. That's all it is. There's nothing wrong with that. If I have, for example, if I have a hunter, 3 blocks down sniping me, at least I could try to get them from 2 blocks down. Not all the way from 3 blocks, because they deserve to have the range more than anyone else. But at least let me get 2 blocks down. You know what I'm saying? I can catch you on block B, but if you're on block C, you got me. But with this new Enlightened Judgment, I used to only get you on block A with a Judgment. But now I can get you on block B, but I can't get you on block C. That's too far, cowboy. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the tide should slide, in my opinion, when it comes to that. It's just a thought, and for any range class in general. I think it's just be something that's be naturally nice, especially for even Shakadins, to have, that judgment, that extra little thing, because since their class has, the exorcism, and then you also have the Holy Shock, and then now you have the Enlightened Judged, that's 3 things to play off of. I think it's pretty cool. Inspiration Exemplar, the next ability we're going to discuss. Now, I really feel like this ability is something that needs to be talked about, because we know that this is something that is very important for the future of the Paladin to have within their kit. Naturally, in my opinion, I think this is not something else that needs to be baselined. Shamans already have this with Tremor Totem. It's basically our own version of this, but it being a rune is kind of not it. I really think that this needs to be more of just an on-use ability that we have naturally, that a Paladin could just, have. It would be really cool to have our version of this in PvP and in PvE in general, when I think it's only for 2 minutes, by the way. Even if it's just 2 minutes, if they just want to leave it at that cap, that's fine. If they want to, play around with it, maybe if it would be too annoying within PvP, that's something of the values we would test within the PTR of the Battlegrounds. But making this more of just a regular thing to use is something much better than having a rune slot over, something else that is not worth using. Inspiration Exemplar. There's many better runes to use better than this thing right here. I'm gonna be honest with you. The only reason you would want this is within raid is because of the profit, and normally you would probably have a holy paladin using this thing, but no other ret or tank paladin is going to use this and sacrifice their damage. In no way possible. No shot that's going to happen. So in general, I think this needs to be improved upon. I think this is something that can really be useful in the future for paladins, and I'm looking forward to the future of what they do with this ability in general. For the next ability, Rebuke. And sorry about the transitions. I had to go take care of something real quick. So settle down and lock it in, alright? Don't piss me off. So, for Rebuke, we all know this already. I think this is something that is being pretty common, that paladins want to just see this
mainly as a baseline thing. Do you remember the days, for any of my paladins in the comments below, remember the days of Kelris when you would like have to use this if you didn't have a rogue or somebody who can kick? Like, you would have to use this and get rid of exorcism. That was a tragedy. Like, that was so sad. And then all the paladins realized that, damn, wait, exorcism is the way to go, and we can nuke this son of a bitch way faster with exo than we can with rebuke, you know. But rebuke was nice to kick those abilities, and in general, now it's just a wasteless talent that I guarantee has one of the lowest rates of usage in the game in general now, because rebuke is just not it anymore. You are giving up exo for this. You are not playing the game correctly. I am sorry. This is not it. You will be losing out on so much damage, especially as a paladin, to get rid of one of your main abilities in the game that everyone is using. It's just not it. I think they need to make this baseline. It makes no sense. Who would want to kick as a rune? I would even ask my brethrens at the Rogue Society. Imagine having your kick be a fucking rune. What the fuck? Like, just, it's a baseline thing. Just have it as a regular kick. It's an interrupt spellcasting for 3 seconds max. Settle down, all right? Blizzard, let's make this change. We know that this is probably, out of everything that I'm talking about today, this one mainly is gonna happen. It has to happen. There's no world this doesn't happen. So we know Rebuke is gonna be a baseline thing. Next topic, Avenger Shield. Now, Avenger Shield is something that I remember in Phase 1 of the Glory days, where I would see a dude a mile away, I'd see a hunter, and I'd be like, hey, you sir over there. He'd be like, what'd I do? I'd be like, sir, slow it down. And I throw my shield like Captain America, slow it down. One more time. You know what I mean? And I would hit that mofo. And then they nerfed it, because they nerfed like the dazing effect, so that you can now like kind of trinket out of it, because it was like considered, I think, like almost like a snare or something like that. It was in the old patch notes, but I remember something in the blue post back then. And now you can, like, you know, you can get out of it much easier, but in general, it was a beautiful thing, right? And I feel like Avenger Shield is something that I miss using. Now, I know it still has its place in PvE in the battlegrounds, but I feel like, you know, like as a big paladin, as a tank, right? Let's say like a prop paladin, you would be just using Hammer of the Righteousness instead and just going crazy, you know, as a paladin would, using Hammer of the Righteousness over this thing right here. Hammer of the Righteousness is way better than Avenger Shield, but I would like to see Avenger Shield get a little bit more love. I know they increased the values of like how the attack power scaling goes about it, but in general, I don't know. I feel like it just really needs to be straight up something else different. And something needs to be done, whether a rework on the ability, maybe, I don't want to say make it baseline, because then it's like too much with like Hammer of the Righteousness and Avenger Shield. You have a lot of fucking AoE targeting threat, but then again, who's to say that wouldn't be badass? Then again, they have to make other classes have other crazy AoEs and stuff, and then you would have to bring in the discussion, yeah, well, now other tanks need much more AoE handling, like Warlocks, or, you know, Shamans or Rogues, which have no really any AoE, right? But I'm just saying, I think, listen, I don't even want to bring up other classes. I just want to say this. Avenger Shield, let's figure something out, because I miss this ability. I miss using it. If they gave us a reason to use it again, I would really love to use it, because it's a sick-ass ability. Who doesn't love Avenger Shield? But besides that, let's go on to the next portion of the video, which is basically talking about some mop abilities. And you hear my chair squeaking right now. Somebody get the WD-40. However, some mop abilities that I would like to see almost inside, but hybrid. And let's talk about the hybrid meaning behind these things, all right? So, Divine Toll. Divine Toll instantly casts Judgment in mop currently, up to 5 targets within 30 yards, right? And it also deals 100% increased damage, which is nuts. Now, how can we change this to make it where Divine Toll is almost similar to Enlightened Judgment? Now, I was thinking, what if we took Divine Toll, split the amount of targets like it does, like Avenger Shield, and then lower the amount of damage that it does to the second and third target, but it focuses mainly the primary target for most of its damage. And the other 2 targets, instead of them taking either big damage, they take a very small portion of that damage, or the other 2 targets possibly get some type of effect on them, whether it's a daze or a silence or something of that nature, an interrupt, so to say. Who knows? Something can be talked about and potentially worked with this baby is what I'm getting at. And I'm trying to think a little bit outside the box here, because I know many other expansions in retail probably had a lot of different things for Paladins, and don't get me wrong, much love for you guys knowing that. I didn't know those things, but I'm learning a lot as I go. So don't get shot in Minecraft. But all I'm saying is I think it would be pretty cool to see how they would add a version of this into a possible new rune idea to see a paladin be able to do his judgment more effectively in a unique way that would affect the battlefield in a certain perspective, you know. And of course, a lot of other classes would have different things. We're just talking about paladins, so don't get pissed off, all right? Because I'm trying to help my own class. So settle down and lock it in. You will get shot during this VOD. How many times have I said they're gonna get shot, editor? You put this in the script like 18 times. You're getting shot too. Minecraft, you know the deal. YouTube family friendly. Example A or B. Next subject, whatever the scientists say. Blade of Justice. I'm not gonna lie. When I was playing Mop, this ability's badass, dude. It's a cool fucking ability. It's a piercing blade that comes to the ground and then lights someone's asshole. Settle down. But in general, it's a dope ability. I think something like this in SOD, having some type of other ranged ability, would be really cool to see on the battlefield. Whether it's like a ranged, how they change it, because they don't need to make it exactly like Blade of Justice, but if they were to change it to like maybe like a ranged stun, or if it would be like almost like a snare, kind of, you know, like an entangling root almost, but like a Blade of Justice just keeps them there. Maybe not that long like an entangling root, but in general, like a druid's roots, right? I don't know. I'm just saying, there's ideas I'm trying to think about what they can do with this. If they were to add a form of this ability to Season of Discovery, or make it a different style of it, right? Where it's almost like Mop, but it's not like Mop in its own hybrid way. So I'm just curious to see how they would handle something like this if they were to add it to the game, and I'm looking forward to the future of it. I just like this ability. This is just I'm not gonna lie, I'm playing Mop, it's a personal favorite. I really like this fucking move. I think it's cool. But besides that, let's go on to the final subject and the last one. Divine Steed. The great Divine Steed. Savix would really like this one if they had it in the game. I watch his streams. Much love to him as well. Yeah, he would really like this one, for sure. And I would love it too. I'm not going to lie. The one thing, and let's be honest, editor, full cam it, the one thing that Paladins lack, which we sacrifice for, is mobility and versus, you know, our tankiness, right? But the problem is with our tankiness is that when, you know, before the damage reduction aura, the burst meta was so bad that tankiness for mainly any class didn't really mean shit, because you're just going to get fucking one-shotted to two-shotted anyways, depending on the class, right? So our mobility, what we sacrifice for mobility is protection. We have our bubbles. We have our lay on hands. Normally when you fight a paladin, it's not just a one-round fight. A good paladin, you're probably going to go 3 or 4 rounds, especially if they have the iron grenades, right? You know, they're cooking in the kitchen with a lot of things. But in general, it's a long fight, because the paladins have, you know, their own stuns as well. And especially if they're deep ret, they have 2 stuns. And if you're fighting a Reckoning, you got to watch out of how many crits you do with them, especially if you're a melee. You probably don't want to keep hitting them over and over again, because you might get nuked from a big Reckoning bomb. But there's a lot of things, right? I think Divine Steed is something that would be nice, because the more classes get more mobile, the more mobile a class, the more mobility a class has, the more advantage they have in a battle. In a PvP battle. We're talking about this mainly in PvP scenario. This would be cool in PvE too, if you have to escape a quick mechanic, just in general. So I don't see no problem in PvE. But in PvP, this is where, like, you know, the discussion comes, because people can get really, you know, annoyed about this ability. They're like, oh no, this is too broken, because you can attack while you're on the Divine Steed, just like you can in Mop. But I think it would be cool if they treated this like almost Diablo 3 style Crusader Divine Steed, where it's just a get out ability. You can't attack while you're on it, so nerf the aspects of Mop. You can't do anything at that part, but it's a get in and get out. It's a chaser ability. And it would be cool, instead of replacing it for, you know how, you know, for example, Shamans, I think they have, like, what, Riptide, right? So they can heal on the go and stuff like that. A Divine Steed would slowly regenerate your health while you're on top of the mount. And you can either chase the opponent, or run away from the opponent. Or if they don't do the healing thing, erase the healing idea. Just leave it as a get in and get out mechanic. But it would be cool to have this type of ability, and it's on, let's say, instead of a 45-second recharge, it could be like a 2-minute recharge, you know? So we can nerf its aspects a bit to try to make it more fair and balanced. Now then again, this is what the PTRs are for, baby. It's to test these things out. It's to try these things, get wild. After all, let's back up, because this is like the final portion of the video, it's Season of Discovery after all. Now, even if they weren't to do any of these mop, you know, hybrid versions of these ideas, if Blizzard wants to come up with new rune ideas, something we've never seen before in retail nor classic era or vanilla, fucking do it. I would love that. If they don't want to add certain versions of things like this, add some stuff I've never even imagined that nobody in the Paladin Discord or the Paladin community or WoW in general has ever seen before. Do that. Do that with a lot of classes, right? Because I love the support for all classes. I love playing multiple classes in general. I've played already 3 classes in SOD. I might go on my 4th. I might do a warrior. Who knows? But I'm just saying, this would be pretty cool to see some fresh ideas if they decide not to go with forms of Divine Steed, Blade of Justice, or Divine Toll within Season of Discovery. So I'm very curious to see what they do in the future, and I'm very much looking forward to the PTR. And also, on a final note, I'm very much looking to your comments below. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for always supporting your boy, and always, you know, coming to these. You know, much love to you. I'll take care of you and maybe give you a little kiss later. Aw, get out of my face, you will. I don't want to say it again. Say it in the comments below. However, much love to you. I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, I stream Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I didn't stream last Sunday. I sometimes get a little lazy. Not gonna lie, chat. I was in the bed hitting one off. Settle down. Not that type of video. But much love to you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep on keeping on, amigos. And I'll see you later. Not gonna lie, chat. I basically was in the bed the other night with a burger getting naked. Settle down.